Man, losses are tough for anyone to deal with in trading. It's impossible, or pretty much no one comes to trading and deal with these losses so easily. They accept the loss, they move on, they respect their plan from day one. It's very hard to do that. I've never seen anyone do it from day one. So let me talk about how do you accept your losses, how I've been able to do it myself, some tips for you, and you'll be able to deal with your losses much, much better. So yeah, that's something we gotta talk about, because the fact that a lot of traders on a daily basis have losses, they have emotions from these losses, and then they don't know how to deal with them. Either they overtrade, either they skip some trades, they go away, they get frustrated, they don't respect their plan, they jump with other strategies, only because of a few losses that they had on their account. So I wanna share with you some tips on that, some things I do, how to recognize your losses better, and how to deal with them better. Now, we gotta talk first about why these losses affect you. And there's, in my opinion, from my experience, two reasons why a loss in the market could be affecting you. Reason number one is you want to prove other people that you can do it, that you can make trading work. You want to prove other people how good you are. You want to have a better self-esteem by making trading work. And every time you hit a loss, then that feels like against that. That feels like you're getting backward and you feel like a loser, right? That's the first reason why losses are tough to accept. Nothing wrong with that. That's the same thing for all traders out there. All traders feel the same thing when they hit a loss. Reason number two, though, is slightly similar, and it's because they have a poor money mindset. So every time you lose money, it feels against your money mindset. It feels like you want to make money. You want to be able to get rich so bad. You want to be able to make it so bad. You really want to accumulate money, and every time you hit a loss, then that feels like you're doing something wrong. You feel poor. You feel like you're never going to make this money thing work, and you just cannot accept to lose money on any given trade. That might seem harsh, but think about it. Like, no one wants to lose money, and no one wants to feel like they're bad. No one wants to feel like they're a loser. We all want to feel good. We all want to show other people how good we are. We all want to prove other people how good we can be. We want to show people we can accomplish things in life. And that makes losses very tough in trading. Now, in the very beginning of my trading journey, I had these losses that were coming to my account, and I didn't understand how losses worked. I didn't understand what that meant to have a loss. I didn't understand that I needed to have some losses first to then get some wins. Like, it's a probability game, so you got to go through some losses to then get some gains. Then some gains, and you go back to losses. It's like a season. It goes up and down, up and down. And of course, you have hopefully more wins than losses, but I didn't understand. I automatically associated the loss with me being a bad trader, while a loss is just your system or your strategy in the market losing money. You could be a very smart person and still lose money in the market. You could study all these concepts, all these tools, all the market principles, and still lose money in the market. It doesn't matter, because losses don't come from you. It comes from how the market moves and your system. So what would happen for me in the beginning is I would take some trades, I would lose some money, I would then be more pissed off, I would look for more strategies, I would find ways to do things better next time. But then each time I was like tweaking things a little bit more, and that means that I was always kind of going away from my system. I was doing things differently. I would have a few losses that day, so I would want to take more trades to come back over these losses. And it's only when I began to test my strategy more and more, understand how it will behave over time, understand the stats behind it, that I started to accept these losses as being normal. I started to accept that having 3 losses in a row was fun, was normal, and that I would be getting out positive on the other side with these wins coming up later. Each loss I took in the market felt like I was taking one more step toward a win. I was taking this loss and this loss and this loss, then I was getting more chances to have a win next time. I started to see that my system had a maximum losses in a row. That was, let's say, 10 or 12 losses in a row, and that's a lot. And then I might be getting close to that, but even then I would keep going. And I never once went beyond that 10 or 12 losses in a row. Now, I did because of other reasons. I did because I had some issues with respecting my plan when I had some losses still. And that's something I had to work on later on. But even then, it was a lot easier to accept the losses that came day to day, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses in a row, than it was before that. Most traders trade a system that they didn't backtest, and because of that, they are afraid every time they trade. They don't know the stats long term. Every time they take a trade, it feels like it could be a win, they are stressed out, it could be a loss, they don't know. And because of that, they are stressed, and each loss feels worse because they don't know that over time, they're likely to be winners. They didn't test. It's kind of like driving a car with no brake. You're not sure if the car will stop, you're not sure if you will be able to stop on time, make your turn on time, because you don't have any brake on the car. Now, same thing with trading, is if you trade and trade and trade, but you don't know if your system works long term, you don't know if the car will get to its destination later on, then how can you expect to feel good when you have a loss? Of course, it's going to feel bad. So you want to make sure that before you do anything in the market, you test your system first and you know the stats behind it. That helped me a lot. Now, it could be the same or different for you, but why not try it out? So you might feel when I'm saying this that my losses were all taken care of from there. I was successful forever after. I knew how to take my losses, but it's not the case, because then I began to later on in my trading journey. So back in 2019, 2020, right when COVID roughly hit, that's when I began to sort of scale my trading up. So I had a decent amount of money and I was putting more and more money in my account every month to be able to scale that up. Before that, I traded for investors. I got some savings. I then make some more revenue from it. I put some money outside of my account for a while. Then I reinvested it later to scale up my account, to grow my account quickly. But as these numbers began to get big, then that fear of losses, that fear of drawdown came back in even stronger. Because the fact that I had these now big amounts, I was used to losing $100 a day, $200 a day, $300 a day. But then what about losing $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a day? That was tough. That was a much different experience, right? That was big. I remember the first time I lost $10,000 in one day. Yeah, that was rough, right? That was a big losing day. And these losses now went a bit bigger. I had these drawdowns that were much bigger, and I had to be able to deal with those drawdowns. And that's because I wasn't used to these amounts of money, right? It feels different. I was not used to this level of money mindset yet. Your money mindset is kind of like a gradual step. You got to be able to increase it slowly to get to that number that you're comfortable with. But if you get there too fast, you're not going to be comfortable with that big amount. It's going to feel strange. It's going to feel weird to make like $50,000 a month, but then you lose like $10,000 in a day. Like that's going to feel very strange at first. Now it takes time to be able to adapt to it. And I was able to eventually adapt to that. I was able to even adapt to paying some people who work for me $10,000 a month, even sometimes $20,000 a month for these employees that work for me, because the work they did. And that took a long time because these amounts were much bigger than what I was used to before. Now it goes to any point. You could be making now $2,000 a month. You go to making $6,000 a month. That's going to be a pretty big jump. You go to making $10,000 a month. Also a big jump, right? Then you go to making $20,000, $40,000 a month. Also a very big jump there. So all these numbers, you gotta be able to adapt to them. And how you do this is simple, is you go gradually, step by step. Even if you make more money, you don't have to increase your account size right away like a big jump. You can go through this over time as you get comfortable. Then you want to track your performance. You want to track how you are doing to make sure you have a good performance and you respect your plan while trading. Otherwise, you don't want to scale up more and more and more, because then it's going to be a recipe where you scale up so big that you cannot handle this money anymore. Then you lose and lose and lose, and that's going to be a big amount of money to lose. So you need to go through it gradually and step by step. Now that's when I found out that I had to stop being cheap. I had to stop trying to save every penny for everything. I had to kind of spend more money sometimes on quality stuff. I had to give more money away, because giving money away create an abundant mindset for you. You feel that things are more possible. You feel more safe about money. And all these things I did to be able to change my mindset around money. Eventually I came to a point where that $2,000 a day loss eventually didn't even matter, because I was at a different level then. So you got to go through these things gradually. Now I know you might not be there yet, but these are things I did to handle my losses. Hope you get some ideas on how you can do this for yourself, how you can handle these losses better. If you still cannot do it, you gotta work on why you need to prove to people that you are good. Like that's something you need to work on. In reality, you never need to prove others how good you are. You should just prove yourself how good you are. As long as your self-esteem is good, you don't have to prove anything to anyone else out there. And if you have a poor money mindset, you gotta start to look for connections, people who make more money than you think is possible. Learn from these guys, talk with these guys. You'll see that they have a different way of thinking about money. The thing you think is expensive, for them is very cheap. So you gotta readjust these things, these beliefs, and get back on the right side, of course, with a better money mindset. If you have any tips on dealing with losses, make sure you comment below in the comment section of the video. Other people can learn from these tips. We'll be able to create a good community there of comments and thoughts and feedbacks on how you can do things better in trading. So definitely go down to read these comments there below. Subscribe if you're not done yet. I publish 2 videos like this every week. So one interview every Sunday and 2 other trading videos just like this one in the week. And I'll catch you back here in the next video pretty soon. Ciao.